Greetings, Marsh here. Welcome to episode 118 of my modded Factorio playthrough. In this episode, we're going to finish up with our new smelting setup. Enjoy. Silicon is still low, but we are inching our way through that tin, so at least there's no more stop signals, so now the system is operating entirely as programmed. I feel like we should be producing more silicon than that. What did we calculate our silicon production to be? 22.5. Well, it seems like 785 per minute, which is only 13. So that's nowhere near the output. So why aren't we producing the full output of silicon as calculated here? We should be producing it through bobmonium and rubite chunks and sapphirite chunks. So those should be running. So rubite, sapphirite, which is very low, and bobmonium, which is very low. That might explain why it's so slow. So why are those so far behind? We are using the clarifiers, which means we're only producing a fraction of the total amount of water that we need. So that's what it would look like. So we must have, no, we're not full. Did I set this to 30? Why aren't those inserting? I see a green light. Oh, mineralized water is full. What do you know? So, whew. Look at all that pollution. So one thing to note is that propane gas is incredibly polluting, like 500% pollution. So it's very good for energy, but spoosh. So is this moving at full blast? No. I would expect them to be. It's just that we're not burning the propane fast enough. And I think our propane was undersized, because we had 9 of those. Is it still up here? I don't see it, but we can calculate it real quick. We'll search propane. Let's say we have 9 of these. So there's our output. Select energy, the fluid burning boiler, on propane gas. So we needed 34.8. And we have not 34. Let's just do that now. I think this is some stuff that we're going to have to handcraft. None of it's on the bus, but we don't make boilers that often, so it should be okay. Well, at least it's nice to know that the system is working. We never actually tested those clarifiers to see what would happen if it was overloaded and had to run them, but it seems to be working. So, although we have a different problem in the factory, it's nice to know that the other fail-safes were working properly, so it's always nice to see. This is definitely going to be several pumps worth of water. So what's the pollution going to be like up here? It's like 295. Cough, cough. Okay, so this uses 90 water a second. So we can power 13 of them at a time. We should probably move this to be down here. Well, I mean, another problem is that we just don't need the power. So our factory is being fully fueled by this. Nonetheless, let's get this balanced. We could place another one right down here. Get all this connected. Looks like I miscalculated the amount of steam engines I needed. So we could just build a few more. So much steam. So how are we doing? We're actually starting to work our way through it. Might help to have a pump here. Just to get that filled up as much as we can. Well, we need to build another 9 of these. Might as well just make a identical copy. There we go. Doing what we can to get rid of the problem. Although now that I think about it, having a pump here might not work very well because this can be a buffer tank. So perhaps it should be unplugged. It's just the whole factory is now running on propane. At least it all caught up here. Let's see, we hit a stop signal again. Tin. Well, that seems to have run properly. Now we need to do lead. So right there. So we need to get this hooked up to water again. And I'm thinking that after all these are placed, then we can kind of combine some of these pumps. Well, we might be able to kind of do that now with what we've got. Because if I recall, each one of these setups uses half of a pump's output. Okay, so we can actually combine these 3 into one pump. Just to try to have a little bit less pipes going around here. And now that we have this pump available, we can take it to lead here. Okay, and almost assuredly these aren't going to be fast enough. So we'll upgrade them. Okay. Let's see how this works. Yep, it's all good. And that's filling up on lead. Lead coils are being produced. Looking good. I think we just have the last couple setups to do. Okay, we need to get these last few machines. I guess it would be aluminum, glass, silicon, and silver. Let's see, we're running low on lead. Why is that? Filled on sulfur dioxide gas. Because we're just not using any sulfuric acid right now. I think there's something we can do about that. Let's go down here and add some logic to all of this. Instead of filling this tank up to a top-up valve, so setting it up to 80%, let's put some pumps in here. And only run if it's below 20%. And actually, we can build the next tier of tank to get even more space. That actually creates a lot of room for sulfur dioxide gas. So this only will go up if this gets below 20%, which is 10,000. So sulfur dioxide gas is below 10,000 before that turns on. And then, let's see, do we have flare stack? We do. Let's do an overflow valve. So, if this gets too high, we just dump it. It doesn't really matter where this goes, so we can put it right there. And connect it. And now it's definitely going. I'm okay with this because we seem to have no problems generating sulfur. I mean, we're almost maxed out on sulfur now. So I'm okay if sometimes when the factory can't make use of all this gas that we just dump the excess. And in doing so, we should have restarted our lead production. Pretty much. It's going to take a little while for that system to clear out all that gas, but it will eventually. So that'll help a little bit. Although, we might want to consider putting clarifiers in for the mineralized water. Just because it's still maxed out, and we're producing more fuel than we could possibly use. So in that sense, there's kind of no point in making use of every last little bit of water. But I mean, wait, this water's empty. But wasn't it full over here? Yes. So wait, is it just not flowing? Interesting. It's actually not even connected at all. Like, none of these mineralized waters are connected with each other. Like, this one goes down. Wow, but none of the other ones do. How long's that been the case? Oh, I think what happened is there used to be a clarifier here to take up the excess, and that's what allowed the system to run properly. But since that was removed, whenever that was, that feels like a while ago, it's built up. I mean, the factory is still overloaded on mineralized water, but it looks like the algae farms have caught up. So now we just need to get these connected. There we go. Gets a little weird here because this is saline water, but I think we can make it work. It might be a cleaner solution to just go around. Of course, this saline water isn't hooked up to anything either. But the easier solution might just be to go around rather than trying to snake it through in the middle there. There we go, that's connected. That's connected. And finally. And that should catch up eventually. So there's another issue fixed. Looks like they weren't really running much, but I was wondering why all this time we haven't really been making very much acid. I mean, we've been making sulfuric acid because of sulfur, but none of these other acids have really been building up. They've all stayed empty. And I was kind of wondering about that, like, that's weird. But I guess what happened is this stuff would run, and it was just clarifying the extra. But not that these chunks really run that often right now, because the chunks are for these less desired methods to run. But still, we probably did lose out on some acids there that got clarified away. But hopefully that should fix the problem, and it should start building some acid for us now. Seems like the sulfur dioxide is having a trouble getting down here. I guess it's mostly running. But let's see, let's put a pump in here. The condition is it has to be over 40,000. Oh wow, they got through. Well, I'll wait for them to destroy it first before I go up there. Whoa. They're getting aggressive. The wall's holding. Okay, so that worked. They caught up. Okay, we've got 4 more to do. Well, silicon is the furthest back. So you should probably do those two first. I don't think it really matters between them. So let's do glass. Let's put the 12 spaces in here. Might have to up the strength of this wall here. Well, we could certainly try to double it and see what happens. So perhaps in the daytime when the biters stop, we should go back up there and put some more turrets down. Okay, let's see how it works. Ah, it's silicon ore that goes in here, not ingots. That's actually a little tricky. Well, if that's the case, it probably makes more sense to do it down here, but it's actually not that big a deal to just send another belt up and have it meet up there. Technically, it should probably be handled here because it's the ore stage, but... And then what? There has to be a train over here to take it? Like, there's no logistics compared to it being up here, so it's probably easier to have one belt go out of the way than try to have an out-of-the-way train station later, if that makes sense. So we'll just go straight up. And this will probably need to go down for the next item. Okay, let's try this again. See, we have the same problem where these inserters are not quite fast enough. Filling up with molten glass. And glass coming out the other side. Seems good. Alright, we need to do the silicon next. Which is right here. Right about here. So this is running, it's creating oxygen as a byproduct, which we need to send down. Luckily it doesn't have too far to go, really. Can we just go over all this stuff? So far. Wow, yep. No compromises, just straight over everything. Since that's a byproduct, probably want to have a tank and a pump. Now we need silicon in here. Which we have right here. See, these are probably going to need to be upgraded. Yep. Filling up molten silicon. That's making the seeds. These aren't running very fast, but I think that's because we only needed like 2.1 or 2.2 or something like that, so I just had 4 there to be an even number. And there's the monosilicon. Okay. Well, now that that's built, I kind of want to go to the wall real quick while I'm thinking about it and upgrade the turrets. Don't have to go nuts, but let's say twice as many. See how that works. Honestly, whenever you're thinking about expanding anything, usually twice as much is a good place to start. Because it is a significant enough upgrade to make a difference, but it's not usually crazy because the original setup probably wasn't that big to begin with. So, when in doubt... Whoops. Car's too fast. So when in doubt, I like to just double things and see how it works. Let's see, all we're going to need is turrets. Let's just grab 70, is that going to be enough? Oh, almost certainly. And some inserters. And that should be good. Let's hurry up and go up there. Having a car will help. And this might be a good time to mention a mod I'm using. It's called Vehicle Snap. If you hold Shift and V, it'll snap the vehicle. So right now it's off, and it goes normal Factorio where it goes anyway. Then you can do Shift V, and it will lock into an angle, and you can choose what angle you want it to be at. And I think I've chosen to have 16 different angles to choose from, so I have some granularity. And because this vehicle is so fast, it's kind of hard to line up. But once you get it good, it's like go slow, get it good, and now it's completely straight, so you can just hold W and get there real fast. And maybe slow down a little bit for these curves to make sure you're lined up straight. And this can really help with your fast cars. And just like that, we're here already. Okay, so I was thinking to have the cannon turret on the inside. It will reach if we do the inserter up there. So let's just do this. Then we can just come by and drop each one into place. Oh, that one's actually missing. That must have been destroyed in the previous attack. All of these are destroyed. That's interesting. Did I just never replace them? And the ghosts timed out? And why haven't biters attacked those exact spots? That seems interesting. Well, let's copy this whole thing then. Maybe the cannons have been holding them off. Like, where'd they all go? Well, then that was a disaster waiting to happen. And there we go, upgraded. We'll have to see how this works tonight. Hopefully it holds and we don't receive too much damage. Some amount of damage is acceptable on the wall. It's when it gets through the wall and starts damaging the turrets where it becomes a problem. Or the turrets are not that bad, it's the inserters that are the weak link here. So once they go down, the ammo stops. Let's see, probably don't need 5 drones worth of ammo here anymore. But it might be worth just leaving it there just to make sure that we don't have any ammo shortage problems. Because it is a long drive to get up there. 2 builds left. Aluminum and silver. Silver is the furthest back, so we should probably do that now. You know, in hindsight, perhaps silver should have been right here and just let all this other stuff get pushed out, but I mean, it's not that big a deal to have belts. I was thinking it'd be spaghetti. That's actually not very spaghetti. I don't know what you call that. Lasagna? Where it's just a lot of belts going straight. But it's fine. Gets the job done. So silver, if I recall, is very simple, and looks like aluminum is too. They're very small. So let's put our gap in here and drop it into place. Starting to run out of items. I think we might be producing some tin erroneously. Or is that nickel? It's kind of hard to tell. I see, we're making tin from the crystallizers, actually. Which is incorrect operation. Looks like it's incrementing forward. Probably should take a look at this. That might explain why we have so much tin. Certainly anything that's producing tin needs to be looked at very closely because we have way too much of it right now. We do not need to be producing any extras. So it looks like this is getting intermittent signals. Is that because there's a tie? This is alternating between 3 and 4 signals. But it really shouldn't be, though. I see. It looks like it's because there's a lack of silicon. It's the fact that the signal isn't there that it seems to be glitching the system out. So I wonder if adding, like, let's say 5 to the signal might help. So let's do a test here. Now this is pulling the signal off, so it doesn't really matter. We can just do silicon plus 5. And the output is silicon. Still kind of glitching a little bit, but does that mean the output signal stays smooth? It does. There we go. And now the glitching here has stopped. You know what? I bet I know where that negative came from. I bet that was a result of this signal generator right here. The way that it works when it's switching between there's a signal and there isn't a signal. So actually, we don't even need to do anything special here. We could just modify this original signal puller right here at the top. We can just say the silicon ore plus whatever number we want. Let's just play it safe and say 10. And then it'll only output the silicon. So we just need to do the same thing for all of these. Now it should be a lot smoother. Now I don't know if this is going to cause problems with the checker. It looks like it's not. That tin is still being removed and it's not glitching out or anything even though it has the plus 10. I guess because that signal gets removed right here, so the results of getting the plus 10 stops right there. So down here it's not susceptible to the same fluctuation. And now the signal is steady. Of course, all these things still need to fill up, which is going to take a long time. But it looks like it's starting to run now because we're just at 80,000. Which I believe is the set point for both crushed stone and slag as far as turning that into mineral sludge. So we've just now built up to the point where these are going to start running again. Awesome. So now we shouldn't be producing any more unnecessary tin. Silicon's still going to take a long time though because the primary method produces tin, so long as we're overloaded on tin, our ability to make silicon is going to be very limited. Let's see, that is running a little slow. Is that because we're filled up on mineralized water again? I'd rather not be wasting the nitric wastewater because we can actually use that. Okay. Let's see what the algae farms look like. They're doing what they can. But yeah, you can see this pollution cloud here. That, we're just filled on propane. We can't use it any faster than we are because our factory is consuming every last little bit of energy we can get out of that. So I think we're at the point where we need to dump mineralized water. Because I really don't want to be wasting our acid byproducts. Sulfur I'm not so concerned about, but the others, it's painful to get rid of that stuff, because our warehouses are empty right now. So I don't know how many clarifiers we want. Let's just grab 10, since that's a stack. And let's see. I guess they can go anywhere. So how about up here? Although that might be nice to expand them upwards later. This spot is conspicuously open. Let's see, let's leave that connected. And actually, let's put a big tank in here. And connect it. And we can say if mineralized water is more than 40,000 or 80%, turn on. So that should help out. So no more wasting water. Looking good. That should eventually catch up. So silver. Connected. And the final thing we needed was the aluminum, which can go right there. Yeah, we're short on some stuff. And don't tell me we're short like one light. Well, I so happen to know where there's some glass. 6 belts. Well, I know where the bronze is. Okay, the resources are here. Let's see how silver works. Those inserters are the wrong length. And they need to be stacked. Those are running. Filling up the tank. And producing our silver bars. And let's check aluminum. Those almost certainly need to be upgraded. Looking good. Making our aluminum plates. Fantastic. We finally got all that built. I think we were waiting on aluminum for some things. If I recall, it's really 2. Just because I've been avoiding researching things that aluminum goes into. One is pump 2, which we now have access to. Just 50% faster. So we can just build those when we need them. If we pick up a stack of aluminum. The other thing we've been waiting on is the rifle, which is an upgrade from the SMG. So let's see the differences. Well, big one is it has a longer range, 20 instead of 18. However, the shooting speed is much slower. Instead of 10 plus 3, or let's just say the base speed of 10, it only shoots at the speed of 2. So it's a fifth of the speed, but then it has a 600% damage bonus. So it actually comes out ahead. But most importantly, although not relevant here, is that because it shoots much less often, it needs much less ammo. So you go through ammo much slower. So the rifle is much better for expensive ammo types. Now, our armor-piercing magazines, we have way too many of them, so that's not a problem. But that is a potential use for it. So let's do a comparison here. Okay, so we shoot the one on the left with the SMG. Couple of moments. And now with the rifle. Definitely seems faster. How much faster? Hard to say. But it is faster. But it has a potential disadvantage. And that's that it shoots one at a time. So it's really good against strong biters, big ones. But what about all the tiny biters? Sometimes we're surrounded by like 50 biters, and each one of them only needs a single SMG bullet to kill. Well, if we're in that situation, then the rifle might actually be worse than the SMG, as far as clearing out lots of enemies. So we probably should have both types, and just use the one that's relevant. And we haven't used a shotgun in forever, so that's something we can easily throw away here. So let's put out an SMG. Now we have our 2. I wonder if I have any walls or something that's a little harder to destroy. I don't know how fast a stone wall is to destroy, but give that a shot. One with the SMG. And one with the rifle. Definitely seems faster, but it's kind of hard to show here. But if we had lots of very weak targets that could instantly be destroyed. And actually, let's do it for science. let's go shoot some biters for science. So there's the SMG. Seems to go through them pretty quickly. So it definitely shoots buildings faster. You can see individual dudes, though. It takes a long time. Definitely slower. So which one you want to use depends on the situation. I mean, it's definitely fast at killing buildings, but you can see how the SMG is much faster at shooting the little ones. So we didn't miss out on too much by not upgrading. But it looks like we're all caught up on resources up here. And we're slowly ticking through, very slowly building up on our silicon again. Let's see, are we doing lots of acid products? Yep. Probably about to be full on sulfuric soon. Yeah. We're at 48,000, so that's going to max out in a short amount of time. But hey, look at that. We have filled up on nitric acid. Now that is very readily building up. So we've got some factory improvements to do with our water and acid products. But at least we've got all of the plates done. Looking mighty nice. I didn't expect it to extend quite so far like that, so I'm glad we offset it so high in a way. Because if we would have tried to turn this to the left or something, it would have been all blocking things. But I mean, part of that is because everything is nice and spaced out, just so when there's technology changes and different alloys are available, we will have the space to be able to work that in here without having to rebuild all of this stuff. This is a little more compact, but it also has some room for expansion with, like, you know, manganese or silver or something like that. Oh, those haven't been replaced yet. Interesting. To replace those. So it's looking pretty good. So we can finally say that our Tier 2 ore processing is complete. Besides those mentioned fixes. So now we need to build some LTN train stations and get all of these plates down here to the bus. But that's going to have to wait until the next episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later.